Are you fighting with your partner a lot? Are you both threatening to leave unless you agree to counseling? Have you tried to get one partner to go to therapy and then it doesn't work, and then you think about couples therapy as perhaps the only way you can make peace or get some relief in the constant tangles you get in the communication with each other? Well, sometimes you might be surprised to learn that many couples who come into therapy are actually not ready. And it can do more harm than good to come into couples therapy without you thinking about all the things I'm going to share with you. So tune in, get your paper and pencil ready, and I'm going to give you some tips on figuring out if you're really ready for couples therapy. So first of all, if you're feeling like you don't get heard by your partner has no room for you, they just want to push out their feelings, their wishes, their demands, and they just get upset when they're not met, then that's a sign that maybe that is not a good place to come from when it comes to couples therapy. Because you have to have room for the idea of a couple. If both of you are just getting frustrated and exasperated and really tearing your hair out that you can't get through to each other, you can't get simple requests and demands made, it kind of registers but it doesn't happen, then your need is in that moment to really get heard, to be listened to understood, to have room for something, not for someone else to keep stopping you from expressing yourself because they have a need to express themselves. So that's number one. When both of you are trying to get through to one another because you're so desperate to get heard, attended to, listened, taken in, understood, and attended to in a good way, then you really don't have enough room in there to actually listen and take in what your partner's saying. And that's kind of what couples therapy requires, that you both listen to each other, not just pay lip service, yeah, I heard you, and then not attend to it and go somewhere else. You really need to try to have curiosity about each other, why they're feeling that way, what it is they're hearing when you speak to them, and why it feels so bad. So the second tip is, if it's all I between you, and there's no we, there's no us, then there really isn't a viable couple that can come for couples therapy. So in those instances, it's probably better to begin with individual therapy. Each of you probably need a totally objective, a patient, understanding, and curious person to get you, to feel you, to be interested in you, because that's what you want from your partner, and it's not happening because your partner wants the same from you and both of you are clashing. The third thing is that if one of you is coming from a very emotional place and the other one has a different personality, you come from a more calmer, kind of intellectual place, it can be very disconcerting in couples therapy because you're kind of trying to meet each other on different planes. And unless you have your own individual therapy first and learn to connect with your therapist on a similar plane, it's going to be really hard for you to communicate with your partner in ways that make both of you feel seen, heard, understood, and acknowledged for your pain and suffering. When the two of you are just demanding that each of you see each other's pain and suffering, and you don't have enough space to actually take in the other person's pain and suffering because yours is so great, then that doesn't bode well for couples therapy. That means you should go to individual therapy until you have some freedom inside, you have some room, your stuff has been taken care of, you get seen and heard and understood and feel like you're a decent human being. Then you can have some curiosity about your partner and not feel like you have to shut everything down because they're going to say things that either are not true, that are very hurtful, and that you have to wipe away. So when both of you are trying to wipe away each other's feelings and truths because they're painful and hurtful, there's no couple there to come to couples therapy. First, you should go to individual, and then a few months down the road, you can then begin couples therapy when there's room, when there's patience, when there's curiosity, when there's an interest in each other. So number 4, if the two of you are having great difficulty empathizing with one another, like feeling how pained the other is, knowing what it's like to be in their shoes, that does not bode well for couples therapy in that moment. It can come later on. So once again, you need to go to individual therapy first and learn what it's like for your therapist to empathize with you. It's more than likely that your family don't know how to empathize and haven't been able to do that with you, and similarly for your partner. So when two people who've never had experience of empathy come together as a couple, they don't know how to give it or receive it, and that makes couples therapy very, very contentious and difficult. So the two of you need to go to individual therapy, experience empathy from your therapist, learn what it's like, and only when you know what it's like can you give it. So those are the 4 things that you need to remember. If there's no we or us, that's a no-no for couples therapy. Start with individual and then work your way towards couples. If the two of you are suffering and in pain and just want to push that pain and suffering so the other one gets it, then once again it says there's no room for each other's pain and suffering. There's no empathy. There's no place to put it. There's just fighting and pushing. That does not bode well for couples therapy. Start with individual and come towards couples therapy. If you feel like your partner just pays lip service, they hear what you say, they register it, but they don't attend to it, they don't follow through, they don't check with you whether you're feeling better, they're not interested in your feelings, that again is a no-no for couples therapy. You need to have an experience first of somebody wanting to understand you, being curious about you, taking time and patience and empathizing with you, so then you will know exactly what it's like. You'll be freed up to be that way for your partner, and your partner will be freed up to be that way for you when you've had some experience of it in couples therapy, in individual therapy. And then you can come to couples therapy. So follow those little rules, and you will find that when you actually come to couples therapy, your chances of success are astronomical. Tell me how you found the video. What are your experiences? How easy is it for you to communicate with your partner? Have you tried any individual therapy? Have you got a problem with it? Are you scared? Because that's very normal too. So let me know what you're feeling, and I can help you some more next time around.